Knicks took care of business against Phoenix Suns. Got my man EJ. Got J Boogie's latest track. You can hear in the background with the shout out. Kind enough to shout us out. J Boogie Run. And EJ, how we doing?
I'm doing well. Happy 2023 to everyone that's part of the Knicks Buzz fam. So happy 2023 to my man CT. Thank you to Jay Boogie for the dope fire that we're listening to right now. And happy to have a Knicks win. Great way to end 2022. Great way to start 2023. So really excited to be here today. How you doing, CT?
Yeah, feeling really good. Happy New Year to everyone again. Knicks Nation, Knicks Streets out here. And of course, the New York Knicks are undefeated. Pull off their second straight win at the Garden. Back to home cooking for the new year. It feels good. And it's the first time the Knicks have beat the Phoenix Suns, EJ, since 5 years.
Wow.
Nine
Wow.
encounters.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. I mean, Phoenix is just one of those teams that when you see them on the schedule, there are certain teams that as soon as you see them on the schedule, you're like, that's a loss, or
Yeah.
you're very intimidated by the fact that you see them on the schedule. You see them and you're like, oof, I don't know about this game. For example, Milwaukee, even though like recently the Knicks have had some levels of success, like hanging in with Milwaukee, but like the Milwaukees, the Golden States, right? There are certain teams you see on the schedule and you're like, kind of afraid of this game, but they did their thing today, and by the end of that first quarter, the Knicks had their foot on Phoenix's throat for much of the game. So it was rather impressive.
Yeah, that's what's the most satisfying thing. I mean, to hold Phoenix to 83 points,
Hmm.
defense back,
Hmm.
ladies and gents, protect the garden. I always say we've been talking about it all season long, how good it feels to protect home court. Obviously, we always pay credit to the opponent here on this show, but no Devin Booker. But coming in, like you said, CP3, Aiton started off really well. Mikal Bridges, campaign returned. But Jalen Brunson, of course, back
Hmm.
in the orange and blue, and boy, did we miss him. And he didn't miss a beat,
Yeah.
but he played a lot of minutes. CJ, Chat, Tibbs going all in. If there was any doubt that Tibbs is going to push for every single win down the stretch tonight, let you know.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, having Jalen Brunson back, you can't underestimate how important he is as a cog in the wheel. One of the reasons why this offseason was such a tumultuous one was because we signed Jalen Brunson, and then with all of the expectations and chatter with regards to Donovan Mitchell, all of that conversation and that consternation that arose led to people really forgetting how important Jalen Brunson is in terms of being a player. This is a guy who's an all-star consideration, who's in serious all-star consideration. And when you lose an all-star or when you lose a possible all-star, that's going to hurt your squad. Even though it's pretty clear that Emmanuel Quickley had great games in replacing Jalen Brunson, but Jalen Brunson is a player of a certain caliber that his loss is felt. And so when he returns back, whatever you had lost, you now have it back, and it was good to have him in the starting lineup.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we still have RJ Barrett to come back, but to score 102 points, 83 to Phoenix. Defense got it done tonight,
Oh yeah,
ladies and gents.
oh
EJ,
yeah, oh
yeah,
yeah.
EJ. What was the most impressive thing today?
I know a lot of us, watch wall to wall Knicks coverage, and one of the game points on MSG was the idea of making sure that you could hold Phoenix to under 100 points. With that first quarter and holding the Phoenix Suns to, I believe, 11 points for the Phoenix Suns, even without Devin Booker. Let's just say that. I mean, DeAndre
Yep.
Ayton is a professional big who has all kinds of tips, tricks up his sleeve, and Chris Paul is Chris Paul. You cannot underestimate the ability for Chris Paul to dominate a game, but there seemed to be no ability for the Suns to really shift into another gear. And that was really impressive. And the extent to which that was the defense, plus the fact that Phoenix has played a heck of a schedule. Their away schedule right now has been torturous. But again, I'm a Knicks fan. I'm not a Phoenix apologist. But the fact that the Knicks were able to take that and use it to its advantage, that made me incredibly happy today.
Yep. They still had, dangerous weapons.
Mhm.
Emmanuel Quickley, obviously pairing up with Brunson in the backcourt. I mean,
Mhm.
that's just a beautiful defensive, offensive unit. And I'm
Absolutely.
already seeing some early chatter online, not that it's ever going to happen, but I think RJ Barrett has always played more minutes with the bench unit.
Mhm.
And, they're interchangeable, but IQ can start, can come off the bench. I mean, we'll talk about Julius. We'll give him his flowers.
Absolutely.
Talk about Brunson's return. But let's just start with IQ because he got the start. And again, he's being super consistent right now, especially defensively.
Yeah, he's going to be a problem. And when I mean a problem, I mean in every facet of the word. The last podcast that we had together, we talked about the conundrum that IQ is going to be in terms of a contract, and the way he is playing, he's going to be a problem because he got a lot of minutes today,
Yeah.
and he played like a true professional who belongs on the court as much as possible, which is a good problem to have. When you can have players who you had at some point thought that they could be a great role player on your second unit, but they balled out the way that they did, he balled out the way that he did today. That's a great problem to have. I mean, his defense, his rebounding, his shooting, and the fact that what we're starting to see, hopefully from IQ, is control, more and more control. There were moments early, particularly in the preseason, where they felt like IQ would sometimes play out of control or play too fast.
Yeah.
Um, or there were times, later on in the season where it felt like he would sort of meander and not be clear in terms of what he was doing. But today, there was none of that. There was none of that. This was a player who said, "Okay, I'm here. It's like a maturation happened today, and hopefully, this is the start of a long run of a more mature IQ, which I'm here for it. Totally here for it."
Yeah. Yeah. Consistency is
Hmm.
key. When players play enough together, these guys are pros first and foremost, but when your younger players come up in a system and they're playing alongside the same teammates, there's something to be said for consistency. And we're seeing Quickly now, you know, feel really comfortable in this environment, playing with these guys, improving every year and working on weaknesses.
Hmm.
Obviously, tonight free throws was an issue, and that's some of the constructive feedback I want to talk about tonight. Because if we hit our free throws, it wouldn't have got even down to 18 points. I think Phoenix got it back to,
Yeah.
but we would have shut the lights out completely. But in terms of quickly working on some of his weaknesses, his shot selections got better. He's not always looking for that floater immediately. He's probing. I'm just really impressed with what I've been seeing from Quickly so far.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing too that was really impressive or has been impressive about IQ, even in the games where we didn't quite finish the deal, whether it was against Dallas or some of the or San Antonio. One of the things that Quickly has shown recently is his propensity to get into the lane, which is
Mm.
something that Jalen Brunson does, and that's something that we struggled to do almost all last season, and the year before as well too. Finding guards who can find their way into lane and cause havoc and create opportunities where the defense has to collapse, and then you have an ability to really move the ball around. Now, the extent to which we're still moving the ball around, that's a story for another day. It's not as consistent as I would love it to be, but that is
Yep.
something I love about IQ is that he has this propensity to just get in the lane. And what's starting to happen, and this is why I'm saying he's going to be a problem, is he has this ability to hit the three. He has the ability to have that floater game in the mid range.
Yeah.
If my dude can develop that ability to to finish at the rim, that's a complete problem.
Yeah, definitely. We're looking at a player really coming into his own. And salute to the chat. Tim
Mhm.
Smith in the house. Salute everyone out here rocking the New York Knicks on a 2-game win streak. And we definitely want to look ahead and take care of San Antonio. But yeah, Tim's on the money here, EJ. I
Mhm.
think I've got to look at the latest numbers, but IQ's numbers, like Tim says, best on off numbers in the league. Defensively, like you know how much I love two-way players now.
Absolutely, absolutely.
The Knicks absolutely need to hold on to IQ right now, in my opinion, man. Teams are going to come calling, but
They probably
hang
already
up.
have. Yeah, they
Yeah,
probably already have. Like the recent stretch of games that he's had, I'm pretty sure, especially because it's already past, what is it, December 15th? Um, the calls have probably already started happening. And that's why I said he's going to be a problem. And I just don't mean on the court. He's going to be a problem in terms of figuring out what do we do with him. Like he's having that kind of season where it's like, oh, if and notice I'm saying if, everyone,
yeah,
if the front office hadn't considered seriously holding on to him past the season, he's making a case to force that conversation and for it to be a more serious conversation. And we don't know the conversations they're having in the front office, but hypothetically, if they
yeah,
weren't serious about holding on to IQ, this is now going to make it a more difficult decision. And let's be frank, it's going to be more of a divisive issue in
yeah,
all of Nick's verse.
yeah. Just hold on to him.
Yeah.
Hold on to him. Bring him all the way in up to when that contract ends. I don't care if he takes the qualifying. He's a restricted free agent. Like Mark Berman, friend of the show, always says, bless him, you know, restricted free agency is meant to favor the team
Hmm.
that holds the players' rights.
Yeah.
Right? Don't worry about the extension situation right now. We still have Quickley for 2 more years, and then we can worry about it.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
do you, yeah, what are your
Go
thoughts on
ahead.
that? I
Well,
mean,
yeah,
if
not,
let's say it's restricted free agency and they give us a bloated offer, we can just match
yeah.
if he's good enough.
And you know he's gonna get an offer. He's gonna get an offer. And you know that's the great thing
Mm.
about these contracts. You know, the first few years is definitely in the favor of the team. And you know, the other thing is too is that what's great about him, I think that the Derrick Rose situation will resolve itself. You know, as you were talking about with the Bill Daughtry interview, at some point it'll resolve itself. Um, IQ just makes sense to be on this roster um, because of what he provides on so many different levels. And and here's and here's the thing I love about it too is this is a player that comes from your development. That's something that I don't know if guys if you guys take this and we can have this as a badge of honor. This is a Knicks homegrown talent. You know, oftentimes we spend a lot of time debating, you know, should we trade for this player? Should we trade for this player? The kind of games that IQ has had should make us all proud because this is a player that came from the Knicks development system. Let's not
Yes.
forget that. Please, let's not forget that. And don't underestimate that. This is
No.
a Knicks player, a Knicks developed player,
Say that again.
a
Say that again.
Knicks developed player. For as much as we moan and groan about the development, this is one of our own from day one. He's a day one
A
Nick.
dot. Yep.
Yeah.
And I don't really always indulge in these redrafts, but
Hmm.
conversation could be had if the redraft happened. Quickly could go top 10,
Probably, yeah.
top 10, top 15. But that's a different conversation. Yeah, super impressive for IQ. Yeah, tonight, recently, keep it up. We just have that luxury now. I guess we're RJ Barrett. I mean, it's only a finger injury.
Hmm.
Thankfully, it's not nothing too concerning. RJ will be back probably within the week. But yeah, it's to have Quickly to play the way he's playing. He's had playoff experience. Can't wait till he's a big game player. And if we're back in the playoffs, I think Quick's going to go off again.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm excited. You know, what's great about this is that I forget where I saw this, and I wish I could actually give credit. But I think I was on Twitter and I saw someone post about IQ and several other older Knicks draft picks. And the fact that we had to fake excitement about some of our previous draft picks, and I wish I could remember who it was, and I'm totally apologize. I'm not one of those people on social media who like say credit for other people's stuff and not give
Yeah.
proper credit, but they like posted like an image of Frank Ntilikina and Kevin Knox, and we all,
Izzy Dagus.
yeah, oh my gosh, man. I told you we're
Mm,
gonna do an old Nick of the day every podcast.
yeah.
And the amazing thing about that is that as Knicks fans, we're so passionate and we're so loyal, and we want to wish every player we've ever drafted into being like a superstar. And all of those players, all of those other players, they're mired in obscurity, or some of them are out of the league. But to see an IQ who's raised the expectation of what we can possibly do in terms of drafting and developing players, that to me is really exciting. So like, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
thankful, in 2023 for IQ that he is Knicks day one, a drafted player. I
Yeah.
love that.
He gets it. He's
Yeah.
hungry. Look how he locks down, grittiness, defensive minded guy. Uh, like I said I think I was on the last show, when he puts on more muscle, he's got a really broad frame.
Hmm.
And once he bulks up more and puts on more muscle, he could become a serious defensive player. I
Yeah.
mean, serious. And I want you to now hit on the next man, EJ, before I hit on him, Julius Randle. Let's talk about Julius, our good friend, longtime friend. I'm actually wearing Julius's jersey tee under this shirt
Really?
right there that I got for Christmas. Um, yeah, Julius, great to see him, be serenaded, talk about trials and tribulations as a New York
Dude.
Knick.
Oof.
Reminds me of a lot of other Knicks, former Knicks that were loved, beloved, and then
Yeah.
critiqued. He's building his own legacy right now, and he's controlling the narrative.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't even want to talk about his game tonight. I want to talk about one of the smartest things he did um, tonight.
Hmm. Yeah,
In the post, in his conversation where he was interviewed after the game, I believe by Rebecca Harlow, he did the smartest. It was the best stat of the night. It was the best assist of the night when he said, "I love playing for these fans." That was the biggest. That was the smartest
you
move
know
he made. Like, I don't care what shot it was, I don't care what rebound it was, I don't care what assist it was. Um, that was perhaps the smartest thing he could have done all season. Especially because the environment was right to have a game where there's a blowout, the fans are yelling MVP, MVP. Um, it kind of felt like today um, that the right winds were blowing, right?
it. Yep.
Where maybe that was the moment where it's like, okay, should we take this team as a serious playoff consideration kind of team? And we're not going to get to the upper top four, but with a Julius that seems to have his mind right, he seems to be happy and doing the right things on and off the court, off the court rather. I was like, maybe we can take this seriously, even though like many of us were like, this is a 500 team, but he played a heck of a game tonight, this afternoon rather. And again, I was so impressed and happy and thankful that he said what he said um, after the game.
Yeah, and I sort of try to refrain from looking too far ahead.
Hmm.
In sports, so many things can happen. You take a game at a time, but I just love the fact that Julius is playing team ball. For me, that's the most impressive thing. Nick Streets, EJ, um, he's learning to move the ball faster, less isolation, quicker decisions.
Yeah, yeah,
Snappy decision. That's dangerous, Julius.
yes,
Get out
yes,
there. Yep, we're seeing
yeah,
better effort defensively. He's not dropping back. I noticed a few plays where he was switched on the switch, and he came up on the screen and pushed the guy up. And also the assists, 6 assists tonight. The rebounding, it's beastly. The shooting, the scoring is there. Look at the shape he was in.
Oh yeah,
all the
yeah.
ladies out there,
Don't
men
start
and
any trouble. Don't start
men
any
and
trouble, man.
ladies.
Don't start any trouble. His wife is gonna find this, and we're gonna be blocked on the internet.
Yeah,
We don't need that kind of heat.
I just tweeted at Kendra, but something positive, of course. We love the Randles here on this show, and it was me and the Goatman Tater, Bo Esters, a video we did in the off season. He did a little soundbite for us for Julius Randle.
Oh wow!
And I tweeted it at Kendra, but I guess we'll talk a little bit more about the Obi situation later in the show. But for right now, Julius Randle is this team's, one of their best players, about to become a 2-time All-Star, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And it's time to take this seriously. He's 28 years old, so he's just coming into his prime. He's got help. We can't understate, before we talk about Jalen himself, we can't understate the impact, EJ, that Brunson has had on Randle.
Oh, bro, yeah. Everything you said is right on the money. Like one of the things that, and I would have to take a look at the metrics from the past few seasons. One of the things that's really complimentary towards Julius this season as well too, is he has more spring in his bounce. Like he has ups that I didn't see last season. So like his finishing, last season I totally forgot that he had hops. So like finish with power all of the time. It kind of felt like a lot of times it would be he's banking in the ball, or he's like, banging, would get so tired that he's trying to lay up the ball. But there have been a few times where Julius has gotten up and I'm like, oh wow. Okay, Julius, I see you. So that's definitely a compliment.
Thanks.
That's definitely a compliment in terms of his off-season conditioning for this particular season. And again, one of the things that we said at the start of the season is that Jalen was going to help to make Julius a better player. And it's not Julius slander. It's just that when we look at some of the teams we've had as our starting rosters for the past 10 to 15 years, sometimes we have really good players. Sometimes we have really, really good players. Sometimes we have, elite players. But Elfrid Payton, you know what I mean? There's a difference between an Elfrid Payton and a Jalen Brunson. And one of the things I predicted this year was that Jalen would make Julius a better player. So that's I'm glad to see that he is having a better season all around.
Yeah. Also, I want to make this point because everyone talks about players' ability physically, right? So Julius Randle, my opinion, 28 years old, came into the league, very, very gifted, 18 years of age. We know his body type, a very unique play style archetype in this league. But mentally, I want to highlight that, some players don't hit their mental peak in terms of their understanding of the game, maturity, all of those things. I mean, I'm 39, and when I was 28, 27, I couldn't even understand half the things I know right now. And, a person's maturity, definitely comes into their own at 28, 29, 30. I think once you start to process the game of basketball even better with physical abilities, you could go to another level. And, we've talked about the stuff Julius has struggled with in the past, keeping under control, all of those things. But yeah, I'm high on Julius's growth still in terms of, up here, and his ability now to then go to that next level. With the shape he's in, if he's switched on and focused, head in the game, playing together with another all-star like Jalen Brunson. And then, like I talked about, our plan is to get a bona fide number one with these guys. That's something I think that can be sustainable.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the other thing too, and that can't be measured in sports. And that's, we talked about it with RJ a few podcasts ago with regards to like the mental growth, the ability to figure out, okay, so I have these bags of tricks in my dossier right now, but what are the other things that I can do when certain things aren't working? And there's a level of maturity that has to happen once you grow up, and once you grow older. And the weird thing about sports is that you're asked to develop the mentals earlier than when many of us develop it in real life outside of sports. And so I think one of the things that we saw with Julius last year, and it was just such a difficult season, was there something happening behind the scenes that we never knew about? Was it the pressure of being the number one option for the Knicks last season? Was it the fact that there were high expectations with signing Evan and Kemba Walker? Were there high expectations and it was a little bit too much at that time, especially when Kemba really didn't materialize into what we thought he would be? And Tariq asking me, what did Julius Randle do when Jalen Brunson was out? I've never questioned Julius's talent. My question has always been, is he the number one option for this team to be a championship level team? That's always been my question. And so one of the things that we're seeing this particular season is during this stretch of games that the Knicks have really, really thrived, and Julius has really balled out. And that's really been a breath of fresh air. Welcome everyone back to Knicks Buzz. As you guys can see, that is your man EJ here for Knicks Buzz. Seems as if CT was having a little bit of technical issues, but CT seems to be back right now. So what are your thoughts on Julius? You think he's going to be an all-star this season?
Yeah, definitely, fam. And thanks for holding me down.
Of course.
I just wanted to refresh so I could get these comments. Every now and then the comments and the back end locks up, but we back. And like you said, I really think Julius is on track to be an all-star this season. I don't see any power forward in the East that's touching what he's doing right now. And also, our old friend KP was just announced Eastern Conference Player of the Week.
That was shocking.
And just on that, I'll quickly say before I kick it to you,
Yeah.
I think our 5-game losing streak had a thing to play about that. Yes, Julius should have been all-star, Player of the Week, in my opinion. But I think the fact that the Knicks lost all 5 games last week, and the Wizards are on the come up, that might have been why they gave it to KP.
Yeah, honestly, when I saw that, I was like, oh man, I hope that we don't have a contingent who starts saying, oh, we should get KP or we should have kept on to KP. I'm actually kind of glad that KP has resurrected, what was supposed to be an amazingly prolific career. It was kind of disheartening that what did play out the way that it did, and that, it led to a myriad of bad decisions. But at the same time, once a Knick, always a Knick, and you kind of, when you love basketball and you have a favorite team like the Knicks, you keep an eye out on former players who played for the team. And KP is just one of those players where you just keep an eye out on terms of what he's doing. It was kind of, I did smirk when I saw that he won NBA Player of the Week.
Yeah,
Knicks won and brew. Yeah, of course. But at the same time, and this is kind of along the same lines as Julius, is some players will play really well for other teams. Some players can play well for other teams and the Knicks at the same time. It just never seemed like it was perfectly synergistic for KP to do exceedingly well with the Knicks. It just always seemed to be something. And again,
yeah. And just quickly on that note, promo time, because tomorrow, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time, Coach Nick B-Ball Breakdown on with us live, and we're going to give in our all-star votes right now. us on the show, chat in the streets, and Coach Nick also going to tell us who he votes in as an all-star. So I got no idea who he's going to put in. I hope it's Julius, or I'll kick him off the show. Yeah, but yeah, look forward to that. And obviously, yeah, Julius, huge night again. Lead by example, like Tariq says also. When Jalen was out, Julius was holding the Knicks down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, and yeah, back to Tariq. I forgot to mention this point as well too. It's not an either or. Like Julius can do well, but it doesn't mean that there aren't areas of critique. Like that's not it. That's not what we don't do. So like yeah, Julius did well, but there are also points where we have to raise it to wonder like why it led to a 5-game losing streak. Because we want him to do well, and we want the team to do well. And so it's not an either or proposition. Both can be true at the same time.
yeah.
But it's
He's
going to be
just
fun. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah,
Go ahead, CT.
yeah. I just love, like, we always know Randle can score and get his. The fact that he's just getting beastly rebounding numbers and great assist numbers as well, shooting with efficiency. I love to see it. Um, And now Jalen Brunson returned with the long layoff. I said I was glad, EJ, that he took some time off and they
Yeah,
didn't force him against
yeah,
Houston, and it worked out. We beat down Houston. Came back tonight, didn't really look any different. Didn't miss a beat.
yeah,
What did
yeah,
you see?
yeah. I mean, Jalen Brunson is he's a professional point guard. That's the long and short of it.
Mm,
When you brought up that point a couple of days ago about actually wanting him to take the extra time, I thought about it, I reflected on it, and it made perfect sense. Because he's that kind of player who, now that we have an opportunity to watch him every single day, he plays hard. He plays really, really hard. He
facts.
plays really
Yeah,
aggressively. He's not one of these players who, and I'm not throwing any subliminal shade, so please don't read more into this comment than it needs to be. But he's not one of these players who fake plays. He is
yeah,
100% on almost every single play. And he's been that way since the first game. I think we all remember how he was taking charges first game of the season and not
how could I
holding
forget?
back. You know what I mean? And so that's the kind of thing where you think about it and like, okay, this is an 82 game grind. And
Yeah,
even though he is a baller, he's going to come, he's going to play every single game. The fact that they took the extra time with him was encouraging because that this guy, and again, I'm not part of the training staff, but just looking at him, you can tell that there are going to be some nagging injuries because of how hard he plays. So he
yeah,
looked amazing, and I'm glad to have him back on the court.
yeah. I think he was, maybe quietly circling this game as a return. Potentially CP3
Yeah,
outplays CP3 in the playoffs. Loves that matchup.
yeah,
For everyone that adores CP3's game and all of that, respect for CP3, but
hmm
Brunson going at him, you just love to see it as a Knick fan. Posting him down, played tough. Again, Jalen Brunson's that throwback. Um, as a New York Knicks fan, we love tough players and they play
hmm
through pain, all sorts of things. And he's like that dude that just brings his lunch pail,
Oh, absolutely.
right? Brings his lunch pail. And he's a big game player. I think in the playoffs, I can't wait to see Brunson again ball out because he can do it all. He could take a step back on offense, find guys, or he can go isolation heavy if he has to,
Yeah,
and get you some buckets, EJ.
yeah, yeah. And there's something, and I know that a lot of people probably feel this as well too. Um, the amount of effort he puts in, you have a certain level of trust with him. That when he has the ball in his hands, there isn't that level of fear of like, oh God, what is he gonna do? Um, you
Yeah,
feel this sense of, okay, I trust him. And that, guys, that's big to like have that level of trust in a player this quickly. That says a lot about the quality of player he is, his work, his worker's mentality, that workman-like mentality. That's what I meant to say, and his composure as well. So again, it's really great to have him back on the court.
yeah, absolutely, EJ. And before you jump out of here for the night, and we'll continue on. But I want to get your parting thoughts on this road ahead now after tonight. What are what are you thinking coming in now to this stretch?
Looking at the schedule, pulling up the schedule myself. First off, like obviously we talked about this before. We were disappointed in some of the games that the Knicks had a chance of winning that they did not win. That was a little bit frustrating. So, for example, we were discussing the San Antonio game. That those are the kinds of games that you shouldn't win, you shouldn't lose rather, and they somehow find a way to hurt you. But we have an opportunity to rectify that loss coming up on Wednesday. So that's going to be something that I hope that they take care of business. And then we go to Toronto. And Toronto is going to be a real test. Toronto has been one of those teams this season that we've talked about all year. Like at some point, you wonder if they'll get their act together. But hopefully that's a possibility of winning that game as well too. So
Yeah.
if you can get, retribution against the Spurs, if you can do what you're supposed to do or can do, I shouldn't say supposed to do, what you can do against Toronto, then, next Monday against the Bucks, we'll see where the cards fall.
Yeah. Obviously with RJ back, I think that's where this team was on their tear, 8-game streak with everyone healthy. But yeah, you hit the nail with that. Yeah, appreciate you for your thoughts. Yeah, after this, it's great to start the new year with 2 wins. And it's funny how 8-game winning streak, 5-game losing streak, we take care of business against San Antonio, and it's a 3-game win streak again.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Hey, everyone, don't forget to hit us with some questions for Coach Nick tomorrow. Don't forget to subscribe to Nick's Buzz. Support your boy CT, support your boy EJ. We can be found on Twitter all the time. Hit us up. We'd love to talk. And we are your positive, constructive New York Knicks content creators. So CT, my boy, thank you so much for supporting. And I will see you tomorrow.
Yep. See you soon, fam. Have a great night.
You too, buddy.
Peace.
Bye.
Ladies and gents, EJ in the house. And I appreciate his thoughts after this big win at MSG, taking care of home. Feels great to win on our home floor and, against a good opponent, undermanned. But the Knicks did what they needed to do. But the fashion that the Knicks won tonight was the best thing about it. Salute to the chat out here rocking out. We'll continue rocking for tonight and shout out some of these heroes for their performance. The cracking MD was big. That was big. Paying tribute to Julius, what he's doing right now. He did hold us down while Brunson was out, no doubt about it. Had an amazing Texas trip, like we predicted, and like I talked about at nauseam, that Julius would play well on the road as well. But the consistency he's playing with, not missing a game. Julius playing all 82. Not trying to jinx it, but 28 points, 16 rebounds, 6 assists tonight, 7 of 18. Well, he paid homage in his press conference to Jalen Brunson as well. I thought those quotes were really nice, a nice touch. He really went out of his way to give a shout out to Brunson and say he's one of the best teammates that he's ever had. So you love to hear that kind of thing. Brunson is very diligent in the locker room, a leader, vocal, outspoken, really cares about his teammates, does what a leader does, 2-time college champion, NCAA champ, and bringing that winning pedigree to the New York Knicks, bringing that winning mentality as well. It's not all about X's and O's. It's not all about plays on the court as well. It's about mentality, strength, toughness, all of those things. 82 games. It's a grueling schedule up in here as well. For the New York Knicks to win regularly, get respectability back around the league, we're well on our way right now. projected in the September ESPN, stat projections, the New York Knicks were below Toronto, Miami, ATL, Chicago, all of these teams, Indiana. And the New York Knicks are putting together a very solid start first half of this season as well, much to the enjoyment of many of us. Enjoy seeing good basketball. Building a winner is difficult. I always say there's no correct way to build a winner in the NBA. What most New York Knicks fans want us to see is that us to pick a direction. Just pick a direction and go for it. Well, we're kind of seeing a direction right now, in my opinion. We're seeing, guys in their 27, 28 age range heading into their physical and mental primes, with younger guys backing them up. RJ, Quickley, Grimes, Sims, McBride, Mitch, all younger on the come up, and Julius and Brunson leading veterans, leading by example. With that said, we had some news. Obviously, I'm not sure exactly to what extent, but prayers up to Damar Hamlin and the fans of the Buffalo Bills, as well as we await more news as well. G Money, salute. G Money in the house. How you feeling, fam? Nick Streets up in here. Assemble. Sharp Hours, salute. Salute, salute. Yeah, G Money paid tribute to the defense. Nice ball movement, did the trick. Yeah, facts, G. That's something I wanted to highlight next, was the ball movement. The assists tonight. Julius Randle with 6 assists. Mitch with 2 assists. Brunson with 6. Quickley 3. Grimes 5. With a team total 26 assists tonight as well. So you love to see that among the starters. I mean, Quentin Grimes, we'll give out his grade in a minute because we've chopped up Randle, Brunson, and Quickley. But yeah, Quentin Grimes' ability to move the ball, create the defense to collapse with penetration was a thing of beauty as well. Yep. Tim in the house, salute. Spider just made Luka miss free throws to tie it against the Bulls. So yeah, appreciate the updates for that. Mets, Knicks fans, let's go. I feel another winning streak or a good run of winning. Yep. I feel the same too with this. Health has always been the major thing. Yes, the Knicks 5-game winning streak sucked. It hurt, especially coming right off of a 8-game win streak. But looking back now, reflecting on that 5-game losing streak, I put a lot of it down to, guys were tired. They didn't execute, of course, missed free throws, some coaching folly. It was a mixture of everything. But above all else, it was injuries, No Brunson, no RJ for a lot of those games. So I think this team, when healthy, can compete with anybody. We just don't have that kind of depth to outstand some of these great teams, good teams as well, when we're down a few soldiers. So I think Leon Rose kind of knows what needs to be done now heading into the trade period. It's been a really successful first half of the season, I think, for the organization. Young players playing well, a stock going up across the board. I think every player's stock's pretty much gone up, except obviously Cam, Fournier, and probably Obi. However, with that said, like Heck Knicks Morning Brew says, the deadline is soon here, and we're going to be seeing some talks. Obviously, there's talks with Obi going on right now, or reports going on. What do I expect the Knicks front office to do? I think we're going to definitely be active. I think, fam, we're definitely going to be active, looking for. Well, we're going to be buyers, basically. We've chosen a direction for this organization now. It's to build with this core. I don't think it's a finished product by any means. Everyone knows we need a number one bona fide star to win in this NBA. There's no doubt about that. But in terms of who we got right now, we got a nice core of guys. I think we're going to try to increase our depth on the bench, fam. I think we need some shooting, some athleticism, some size. Obviously, we need a guy, of Cam Reddish's prototype, 6'8" or above, a guy that can come off the bench and score. If Obi is moved along, we need another guy that can come in at the 3-4 off the bench. It's interesting, whether or not Fournier will still hang around. But I think that's the main target, fam. I think the starting 5 is pretty much set for this season as well. I think a bigger move is more likely in the summer draft night. However, I think right now this team needs help off the bench. Right now, Miles McBride playing really well defensively. When push comes to shove in these tough matchups, we're going to struggle offensively. I think off the bench, I think we need more weapons. However, like I mentioned before, I would like to see RJ Barrett play more with the bench unit. Quickly tonight, playing as a starting role, he can fit in anywhere right now. He can fit in. Yeah, E says need to be focused. The defensive end for 4 quarters. Yep. Hit the free throws at the good clip and close out games. Yep. And Tariq also mentions too, he agrees with the size the Knicks need. Yep. There's definitely going to be some scary matchups, fam, with Philly, Brooklyn, Giannis and the Bucks, and of course, ATL and Boston. The Boston's wings with Brown and Tatum, absolute monsters out there. And of course, where we miss that size, that's Quentin Grimes' weakness, I guess, as we give a grade out to Quentin. Great game tonight, great floor game, can put the ball on the deck, can shoot well, great decision-making, great IQ, great toughness, defensive IQ is on point for Quentin Grimes, but his limitations are his size, 6'5". Quentin struggles finishing in traffic. I think his go-to move is to get dribble penetration, hope a guy cuts or gets the dump down, to Mitch like he usually does. And he's become really special at doing that. The Quentin Grimes dump down, because, he kind of knows his limitations, does just Q dot. Like I said, finishing in traffic, when the center comes forward, you see Grimes usually get blocked. He'll miss a layup or something like that. He just misses a couple of extra inches, to finish in traffic, I think. So, yeah, that's the limitations I see from Q dot, but there's not much right now, ladies and gentlemen. From a guy picked 25th overall, the production he's giving us in his second year, shout out to the drafting scouts, shout out to Quentin Grimes. The Knicks hit on that draft pick, and that feels good. That sounds good, Knicks Nation. We don't get to say that very often, and it's early, but it's very clear that the Knicks hit on a second-year guy, 25th overall selection. And like I joked with EJ, I'm not going to do it right now, but later in the future, I'm sure we'll delve into some redraft revisionist history as to where Quentin Grimes might end up going in a redraft, But Emmanuel Quickley, we're further along the road. 3rd year now is Quick. He's playing like a top 10. I've got to look at the whole first round, but Quick's playing like a top 10, 15 guy, from that draft as well. So we hit with that, considering we missed out on some targets, Tyrese Maxey and but we ended up with Quickley. So, the rest is history tonight. 36 minutes for both of them. 5 of 9 for Grimes, 2 of 6 from 3, 3 rebounds, 5 assists, a block, 1 turnover, plus 10, 12 points. He's carving out a nice role. I believe Quentin Grimes can go to another level in the future. I think he might become better than a role player right now he's playing an elite role for this team. Defensively, the ball flows when Quentin Grimes is on the floor, and those players are really valuable. Those players are super valuable. Guys that can play well without the ball. We know Julius, RJ, and Brunson are our guys on ball, but Quentin Grimes can bob up and make the defense second guess. Kaiser Soze, appreciate you in the house. Let's go. Grimes just needs to work on getting in shape and his explosiveness. He makes all the smart plays already. Right now, yep. Facts, Kaiser. That extra year in college where we are seeing, and you guys tell me your thoughts on that. But yet, when we seem to get these guys with an extra year of college under them, they come into the league more ready. Obviously he had some tribulations. Things didn't go quite according to plan with Kansas, reinvented himself, went to Houston, found his right game, the three ball. Kelvin Sampson stand up as well, helping him find himself. And also Jericho Sims, extra years in college, coming ready into this league. Right there, ladies and gentlemen. And we have a super chat, ladies and gentlemen, from the one, the only, Jay Boogie, as we played his new track, as we hit it right now. Jay Boogie with Run. Let's go. Boogie, appreciate you, fam. Yep, straight from my heart to yours, across the world. Keep doing amazing things. Keep blessing us with this content. And that shout out, I'll never forget it. Here we go. Yep, that's right. We got the Knicks buzzing. Jay Boog. Yep. Winning the last game of the year, first game of the new year, all the way up. We all the way up. Jay Boogie, appreciate you, fam, as well. Everyone else, check out the track. Jay Boogie got his channel up on YouTube as well and got all his tracks up there. Big things as well. I'm hearing some stuff, Boogie. You'll have to shoot me a text, but I'm hearing that you're doing some big things behind the scenes as well. And you got to jump on. Yep. Got to jump on, fam. We'll tee something up and we'll talk about it. Wow, Lily says Donovan going off 66 right now. Let's pull this thing up as the Bulls and the Cavs are in OT, ladies and gents. Man, but it looks like the Cavs are about to pull it out. Up 9 now with 40 seconds left. And Donovan Mitchell's stat line is 8 rebounds, 11 assists, and 69 points. Right there, man. Willing his team on, man. Could he be that future Nick? As an unrestricted free agent, talking about that. Yep. All the love in the world coming through for Jay Boog and Knicks Nation out here. This thing's bigger than all of us, This team hasn't won in 50 years, and we're out here rocking right now. Like Hex says too, yeah, we definitely hit with Grimes at that position. We hit with Grimes, we hit with Quick, and we hit with Sims as well. And look, for the 36th pick, it's looking like we hit with McBride as well, So shout outs. All of these guys, big rotation contributors, Sims, McBride, Mitch homegrown, Quick homegrown, Quentin homegrown, RJ homegrown as well. So yeah, be patient, Knicks fans, Knicks streets. It takes time. We're building stability. We're building consistency with the personnel. Of course, like I said, Quick is playing better because he's starting to be familiar with these guys as well. That's key for a young player. If you keep turning over your roster every year, it's tough. It's tough for these young players. They get demotivated. They get shook, all of these kinds of things right now. I think the Knicks got chemistry in the locker room right now, and Jalen Brunson's playing a huge part of that. And of course, a big performance, a big year from Julius with this situation right now, as D Mitchell's up to 71, ladies and gentlemen. Yep. I believe this too, Kaiser. Yep. I believe this. May as well go out and say it right now. I think Donovan Mitchell will heavily consider the Knicks in 1.5 years' time, but we're still a ways away. But I agree with that. Yeah, completely agree, fam. The way he talked about wanting to come to New York, be with his mum, be close to home, since coming up into the league, he's only ever been in Utah. Let that sink in as well. We got all the love from Portugal. Salute HP, Carlos. Appreciate you. Let's get it. K Miles in the house. Yet the Knicks look ready for the playoffs season early. Yep. I just really feel like we need extra bodies on the bench too, so that we can lean off on some of these minutes too. That's going to be key if we make a playoff play-in situation. K, I think having Brunson, having Randle, RJ, everyone fit, healthy, and rested is going to be huge for this situation, right? Give Quickley a bigger role. Play him 33 minutes if you got to. Rest some of these starters. Get Evan back into this rotation for 15 minutes. I'm good with that. Yep. Most def, yep. Fam, yep. Absolutely. Let's get it, Jay. Boogie in the house. So yeah, with Quickley and Grimes, today we just basically took their life from them with Phoenix. Early on, the second quarter, we snatched their heart out because it was defensively that they just couldn't get any easy looks. We were closing out hard. They were missing a lot of shots, but a lot of them were forced misses on that situation. Grimes and Quickley with 36 minutes apiece right there. Both in the plus, obviously plus 12 for Quick, plus 10 for Grimes, 15 points and 12 points apiece. Huge role players for this squad right now. We rely on their offense, but obviously the way they lock down is giving this team that identity that we had in the 8-game winning streak. And that's what's going to continue for this team to win right now. There was concerns over Brunson coming in this year defensively. How much would we struggle defensively with Jalen Brunson here? Well, I'm here to say that with Quickley, the defender he is right now, with Grimes, the defender he is right now, RJ still got ways to grow defensively. This team, is in the top 10 in defense right now. So right now, and also pay credit to Brunson for giving max effort, taking charges, sticking with his man, playing tough, all of that stuff, right? You can't teach smarts, and Jalen Brunson's got that. Like Lily also, hits on. The Knicks definitely got back to that defensive identity, we kept Houston to without scoring a bucket for 7-8 minutes, tonight, an 11-point first quarter. I mean, that deserves its shout out, right, in its own, fam. Right, 11-point first quarter for Phoenix. You love to see it. Right there. Protecting Garden, home court, all of that thing. HP says if Evan and Rose stay, plus Brunson, Randle, and others with playoff experience, it helps. The block nest monster Mitch will hopefully help. Yep, no doubt. Exactly, HP. Appreciate you. Guys just getting their feet under them in terms of Grimes. let's not forget he had a slow start to the year. Scary to think what Quentin Grimes could look like in 15, 20 games from now. When he's healthy now, he's getting consistent minutes, above 30, fitting into his role nicely. Is Q Dot. Shooting the 3 ball without hesitation. You love to see that from Quentin. We're not seeing multiple pump fakes or, dribble drives, second guessing. Q Dot's money when he pulls up without hesitation. Well, he only needs a split second to get it off. And he's got the high release above his head, which you really like to see. It makes it tough closing out. Makes that real tough to close out. So that's been, so impressive to see. You guys know I've not just been judging this season on wins and losses. It's about wins within the wins and losses. For an organization that hasn't been consistent for so long, or has been consistently bad for so long, it takes time. It takes time to build winning habits, build repetition, build consistency, all of that. We obviously got the 4th seed, and then unfortunately the year after that, it didn't work out after that. Now, here we are, we're back again right now. So we're back here with a better core, a young core, still room to grow with a number 1 slot to fit into this team. I think look out for the Donovan Mitchell buzz in a year and a half's time. Maybe it's somebody else. I could be wrong. But with the salary space we could free up, the draft picks we've got, the stability we're building right now, think positive things to look forward to, for this team. Yes, could there be some pieces in flux coming and going? There definitely could be. And we're going to hear more noise coming up in the weeks to come. But right now, these guys look comfortable with each other. Right now, they look comfortable. Evan Fournier is getting back into some action. 14 minutes tonight. He was 2 of 6, hit 1 3-ball, 5 boards, an assist, plus 11, 5 points as well. So in a crunch, Evan Fournier is coming in, 14 minutes, giving us some production. Evan Fournier in a smaller role, I'm happy with keeping him in this rotation. We need some extra scoring right now, some extra playmaking, some scoring from Evan. I think Evan in a bigger role can hurt you, like we've seen, no doubt. 30 plus minutes, those days are long gone. But Evan in a 10, 12, 15 minute role, hit a couple shots, relieve some pressure. I'm good with that. Next year, his huge salary becomes a weapon as well, ladies and gents. So I don't see an urgent need to get rid of Fournier right now, but let's see. Maybe there's some big moves in the horizon that, relies on his salary to be part of it, but we'll wait and see. It wouldn't surprise me. Quiet Money, salute. Happy New Year, fam. Yep. Yeah, like HP also hits on too. We can see why Quentin Grimes is so important in the eyes of the front office now as well. He's a glue guy, a quintessential glue guy right now. Guy that doesn't need the ball, deadly when he catch and shoot, dribble drive, can handle, and has a higher ceiling as well, like many Knicks fans have been saying too, fam. So yeah, sky's the limit for Quentin with this situation. 2 more years of cost control as well for Quentin Grimes. So that's really valuable too. When you're trying to build through trades and free agency, and that relies upon a lot of max money to bring big guys in, you need, excellent role players on rookie scale cost control contracts as well that can contribute. So yeah, Q Dot's plays 100% why he's here, but his contract is super valuable right now too as well. So yeah, wire to wire victory. Got down to 18 points, but the Knicks took care of business. Brunson made a few nice plays. Fournier assisted off the bench. Miles McBride, want to give him a shout out too. 18 minutes. He hit 1 of 2 and 1 3 ball, 50% from 3, plus 7 3 points. So, but his defense was glue-like, stuck to his guy, pick guys up full court, all of that great stuff. We love Miles McBride up in here, playing tough, playing gritty. Jericho Sims and Hartenstein. Sims was in the +4, Hartenstein the -5. Hartenstein struggled tonight defensively, got 2 assists, 3 points. But, to wrap things up, I will say, obviously Tom Thibodeau was concerned that the Knicks, might blow a lead again. But I think it was a bit unnecessary keeping guys in that long. I think at the 4-minute mark, 3-minute mark, he could have got these guys out. Definitely could have got these guys out. And then he waits till 30 seconds left, I think, to bring out Julius. Bring in Mikhailuk, Svi with that situation. But yeah, I do feel like, we expect that from Tibbs, right? A leopard's not going to change its spots, in that situation with Tibbs. I mean, it just is what it is right now. But something I want to ask Coach Nick about tomorrow night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time, as you see there, B-ball breakdown's going to jump on. Got the streets buzzing. We'll talk about all-star votes. We'll talk about some of the Tibbs schemes this season, what coach has noticed. I want to ask him his 3-point defensive philosophies, the drop coverage versus, man-to-man. And I also want to ask Coach Nick about, the philosophies of fouling up 3 points. Do you foul? Do you not foul? I love to hear people's thoughts on that situation, like what happened in Dallas as well. But if you want to talk about anything else, any questions you have, throw it in at us on Twitter, throw it in the comment section, Replay Gang, and we'll talk about it tomorrow night, when Coach is on. So yeah, look forward to that, man. It's going to be fun out here. Now we've got to look at the road ahead, because the New York Knicks now can pull off a 3-game win streak. The San Antonio loss really left a sour taste in my mouth. It really did, because they were really undermanned. Keldon Johnson looked really, really good in that game, and their role guys stepped up. Doug McDermott, Trey Jones, a lot of their other guys stepped up in San Antonio, but the Knicks are back home right now. We need to take care of business again against San Antonio, because you see what's coming up. You see Toronto, you see the Milwaukee Bucks and the Indiana Pacers as well. So I'll separate the next 4 with San Antonio. Got to take that one. We got Toronto, Milwaukee, and Indy. We take 2 of those 3. I'm good with that, right? Beat Toronto and beat Indy. So that's 3 out of the next 4. And then look how it opens up. Knicks, ladies and gents, Knicks streets, Washington, Detroit, Toronto, and Washington again. So I split this stretch coming up into 3 groups, right? You finish this stretch off, you take care of San Antonio, you get on a 3-game win streak, you get up to 3 games above 500, then you beat Toronto, you beat Indiana. Toronto's going to be tough, not taking them lightly, but that's what I'm aiming for. You take down Toronto up there, you beat Indiana, you see what you can do, right? And then that gets us 4 games over 500 with that. And then with the stretch coming up, I mean, we should be licking our lips with Washington, Detroit, Toronto again, and Washington again with that situation. So you're loving it with that. Yep. Tariq paying homage to Grimes. Yep, no doubt. No doubt. Grime Hive strong as well. But it is a situation where Grimes, I was high on him from the get-go as well. The way he came in with the 2-way potential as well. Yep. So yeah, Knicks Nation showing love. We had Jay Boogie up in the house. Knicks back to 2 games over 500. And we chopped up the road ahead. What are you guys' thoughts on this stretch coming up? Before we get out of here as well, I'll talk about, again, the road to building a winning organization, right? It doesn't happen overnight. There's going to be bumps along the road. There's going to be ups. There's going to be downs. There's going to be blowouts. You're going to get blown out. All of that stuff, right? What you do want to see is trends, winning trends, whether it's from your young guys, veterans, guys playing the right way, and you could do nothing but salute some of these veterans, the way they're performing now, moving the rock, playing better defensively. Julius Randle leading the charge, leading by example. Jalen Brunson come back, shows his impact tonight. Takes control of the offense. 24 points, 8 of 18, and 2 of 3 from 3 ball. Like I did mention, the free throws, the Knicks do need to get in the gym, practice these free throws. Brunson, uncharacteristic, 6 of 11 tonight. So, yeah, uncharacteristic from Brunson. But he's going to be better than that, I feel. He's going to be better than that on most nights. Is Brunson. He's afforded some leeway with that because he's been great from the line. But just as a squad as a whole, we gotta take care of these free throws, because that definitely adds more pressure when you're trying to close out games. With that situation. Now, obviously the Obi Toppin stuff, we talked about that last show. I'm not going to really dive into it too much right now. But what I will say is, with the way Julius is playing right now, if we can get a nice return for Obi that makes sense for the roster moving ahead, asset management as well, you've got to consider it. You've got to consider it as all the pieces need to fit, on this situation right now. However, you don't need to be rushing into anything, because, again, if you want to bring Obi back, you can. You can bring him back, even if you don't extend him. Like I said, qualifying offer and restricted free agency always benefits the team that holds the player's rights. Yep, with that situation. Spider, 70 piece. Quiet money, man. That's, shout out to Donovan Mitchell for that. And obviously the Cavs are having a pretty good season. We pull up the standings right now, and the Cavs are in 4th, 10 games over 500. So yeah, they're building nicely with that situation. Let's see what happens in the playoffs. I do still feel that Spider will test unrestricted free agency as well. I really do. I think he's going to test that. Let's see. But yeah, like I said, for everyone down that may be down on this Knicks core and seeing its limitations, don't forget that none of these guys are number ones on this team right now. But boy, can they be a handful altogether as a second, third, fourth option with Brunson, Randle, and RJ. With that said, so yeah, steps up, incremental steps, and we see where this thing goes, man. This is a train right now. Yep. Yeah, I think in terms of the road to trade for Spider, Tariq, that's gone. The only way we're getting Spider is an unrestricted free agency signing. With that situation, he's an unrestricted free agent in 1.5 years from now as well. So yeah, ain't nobody trading for Spider right now. He's going to choose his destination wherever he wants to go, fam, wherever he wants to go. So yeah, there's no trades right now for Spider. No way in heck. No way that's happening. Yeah, I like the fact that this team is targeting guys, that are free agents, like Jalen Brunson. Right, he's showing what it's doing to this organization right now. when you can keep your assets and you can bring in a guy like that kind of talent, that's going to move your franchise forward with what they're doing, and you don't have to give up anything right now. So yeah, it's great things to come for this situation. Believe it or not, we're not even at the halfway point in the season yet, ladies and gents. It feels like we are, but the Knicks are 20-18 after 38 games. So still 3 more to go till the halfway point with that. So appreciate everyone. Tomorrow we'll catch you again, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. You already know what it is. Take care. Blessings. Stay safe. Smash that like button as well. We'll catch you soon. Peace.